Oh, I don't know why she's leaving or where she's gonna go. I guess she got her reasons, but I just don't wanna know. Cause I've been 4 years, I've been living next door to Alice.
Yes.
Welcome to this episode of How to Crush No Limit Hold'em Games in United States Casino. I'm Joe. This episode is I'm playing a $777 buy-in tournament in this year WSOP, and let's go fishing. Today we're playing a very special tournament. It's WSOP Bracelet Event 77. The buy-in is $777 and the date was July 7th. The guaranteed prize pool is $777k. And the most importantly, it's a 7-handed table. Compared with other 10-handed tournament, we have more personal space and also we can play more hands. And I started at the first level, and the first interesting hand happens at 200-300 blind level. And under a gun player open raise to 800. I got ace king offsuit +1, and I don't have too much read about the player. And 100 big blind deep, I think facing under a gun player, I can actually flat call some of ace king offsuit. After I call, big blind player also calls. And flop comes king jack 4 2 spades. Big blind checks, under gun player bets 1,500, I call and big blind fold. Turn comes a queen of clubs, and he checked to me, ace king on this board facing under gun player, I don't think I have 2 street value, so I choose to check. River comes a queen of spade, and complete the frontal flush. Opponent check again, and of course he may have some ace queen or queen 10 this type of hand, but I got ace of spade, so opponent may have less possibility to have a flush. Also, I can get value from king x, so I bet for 4,500, and very sadly, opponent chooses to fold. And he tries to warn me not to do that again.
I'll catch you. I'll catch you in a minute, I promise you.
And then the next hand blinds are up to 300, 500. I got ace 10 offsuit under the gun and open raise to 1,200. All falls to the player who warned me last hand. He's in the big blind and he calls. Flop comes king queen 9 rainbow, and surprisingly the board's supposed to favor me, but he down bets for 3,000, a very large size. And I got another straight draw and plus an ace high, so I choose to call. Turn comes a 4 of club, and he used his English accent to bet for 7,000.
So mine, yes, 7,000.
Another big bet. And I think I definitely got better combos to call this spot, so I choose to fold. And after I fold, he trying to warn me again. And also he's talking about his huge win on his roulette.
You know what was happening next, don't you? What's the worst thing that can happen? Rebuy. Rebuy. Let me show you something, yeah? I'm up 250,000, yeah? And what am I up on 250,000 on? Huh? This. Roulette.
Oh, you want a game?
Roulette. English roulette. The best fucking game in the world. And do you know what he done? Look. 777. 777. He hit 777. That's my bingo number.
And then next hand all falls to bottom player. He open raise to 1,100. Small blind English player also calls. And I've got 10-5 suited on big blind, I also calls. Flop comes queen jack 8 rainbow. Small blind check to me, I also check. Bottom player also checks. Turn comes a 4 of diamonds. Small blind check again. While I have an action, I'm still thinking. Bottom player check. This makes this situation very interesting because small blind player is sharing his interesting story and bottom player check. So I think it's a very good opportunity to steal this spot. Plus I also got a blocker that blocks the nut straight, so I bet for 1,800. Bottom player folded and the small blind player still choose to call. River comes a king of spade and he checked to me again. And facing this player, I choose to overbet for 12,000 because I think his range is really capped based on his action line, and plus if he has a strong hand, he would choose to bet the turn or choose to check raise. And I think river comes a high card, so I think his middling pair would be very tough to call. And turns out it's very lucky he folded his hand and he shows ace jack offsuit. So I successfully bluff it and take it down. And then the next hand blinds are up to 300, 600. I got pocket tens under the gun and open raise to 1800. All folds to the English player again. He calls on the big blind and flop comes ace 6 deuce 2 hearts. He checked to me and this flop is very good to my range, so I bet for 1300. He calls. Turn comes a 5 of hearts. He checked to me and the front door flush is complete, and I think this card is not favoring my entire range, so I check back. River comes a 6 of spade and opponent check again. And after this card, I think I don't have too much room to get a thin value, so I choose to check. And opponent shows 5-3 offsuit. After we show our card, we successfully take it down. And then the next hand is not very special, I just think it's very interesting, and this is a limp pot and I got 6-10 offsuit. After I missed the flop, I folded. Perhaps the English player is too thrilled that he bluffed me and he started to sing, and then he told me he bluffed me.
Oh, I don't know why she's leaving or where she's gonna go. I guess she got a reason, but I just don't wanna know. Cause I've been 4 years, I've been living next door to Alice.
Yes.
24 years, babe. Cheers, mate. Come on, let's have a party. I bluffed you there.
Really?
Yeah, no hand.
You mean last hand?
Club draw.
Ah.
Club draw.
But I got 10 high. And then the next hand, low jack player limped, and high jack player open raise to 2800. Bottom player and small blind all calls. I got ace 8 of diamonds, I also calls. After low jack player calls, we're entering a 5-way flop. Flop comes 5, 6, 7, 2 heart. All player check to high jack, he bets for 4400. Bottom folded, small blind calls. And this is a very interesting spot because hijack player is a pre-flop raiser. On this board, he's probably representing some strong overpair. I'm not too worried about the small blind player because his range is very wide. He will contain a lot of trash hand. And I got 2 overcard and a double-ended straight draw plus a backdoor flush draw. So I think this is a very good bluff combo. Also, my range will have the most strong hands on this board. I will have all the straights, 2 pair and sets. So I decided to push all in. And turns out low jack player folded, hijack the raiser also fold, and the small blind player tanked for a long time. And he sings for a while.
I lose control.
And then finally he decided to call. And he shows his hand, and obviously hijack player is a little bit upset.
Well, I think I've had a nice day. Yeah. And couldn't play with any better players.
Oh, set of sixes over there.
I'm fishing.
What is going on?
Straight.
And then turn comes an 8, so opponent hits a straight. River didn't help me, so I lose a lot of chips. I only have 2,400 left. And very interestingly, players on the table had a lot of discussion about this hand.
What's going on? Gambling.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Gambling. What's the
coming
worst
over?
case?
Double get 'em all.
Just stop.
What do you want about?
Your act is wearing thin with everyone. Just please stop.
No, what? You made the comment.
Mate, your whole act is getting old for everyone around you. Can you just
We don't have a problem with it.
What's that?
If you have a problem, we don't have a problem with it. He's playing his game. He's entitled to his game. Yeah. He made us buy it. He can play his game.
He doesn't need you to defend him.
I defend myself.
Exactly. It's exactly what I
We
said.
haven't had a problem until you sat at the table.
No one was taking anything personally until you did.
You were.
No, I didn't take
You
anything
did.
personally.
I was just commented on gambling, that's all. And my chips
I didn't
couldn't
insult
go.
you.
He wins.
I told you I'd get you, didn't I? That's how I do.
35.
Watch him, don't trust him, okay? He'll rob me for a chip. Trust me.
And then the next hand, I have only 3 big blinds left. And this hand, cutoff player limped. The bottom player, English player limped. I got king 9 offsuit on the small blind. I decided to push all in. And turns out big blind, cutoff, and bottom player all calls. We're entering to a 4-way flop.
Good luck.
Flop comes ace jack 6. I hit nothing and I'm already preparing for the next game. And all players check around. Turn comes a 7 of spade, check around again. River, our last chance, comes a 6. And all player check to a English player, he bets for 5,000, all player folded. And I already decided to leave because no player would try to bluff at this spot. But this English player is not a normal player.
Stop. I gave you protection. I bought, because you're my friend, I bought you protection. You see? The hand's got to be yours. Yes. I didn't want you to go. I bought you protection.
You have to do that.
I wanted to do it. I told you I'm not a poker player. It's just done to me. Hey, that was a good poker move, wasn't it? If he calls, you're out.
This is definitely the most insane situation that has happened to me on the poker table. Definitely never expect that would happen. Don't forget this is a 700 ball-in bracelet event, and this player is definitely a crazy player. After that miracle hand, I steal some pot by push all in, and my chips are up to 15,000, and the blinds are up to 501,000. I have around 15 big blind left. And this hand, low jack player open raise to 2200. I got ace-9 suited. On the cutoff, I decided to push all in. And the opponent tanked for a long time, and finally he decided to call and shows king-jack suited. But very sadly, the flop comes a jack right away, and
Ace is coming. Calm down.
turn is the 3 of diamond. An English player told me the ace is coming, but the river comes a 9 of spade, and I'm out here. And that's the end of my first bullet of this game.
Hey, good luck.
Good playing with you.
Yeah, you too. Oi, take care and good luck.
And then I rebuy for this event next day.
You know what was happening next, don't you? Rebuy.
And the starting chips is 40,000 and the starting level is 100, 200. And the first hand is hijack player limped, small blind calls. I got ace-8 of diamonds on the big blind and I raise it to 800. Two player choose to call. Flop comes queen jack 4 2 diamonds. I got high card plus the nut flush draw, so I bet for 1500. Hijack call, small blind folded. Turn comes a 5 of club. Didn't change too much, so I bet for 45,000. It's a heavy bet. I'm hoping to fold his middling pair, but he still chooses to call. And ribbon didn't come the diamonds we want, it comes a 7 of clubs. I still got a little bit short on value because I got an ace high, I still beat some draws. And if I'm gonna bluff, I would choose combos that didn't contain any diamonds, so I choose to check. But sadly, opponent choose to bet for 5,500, so I choose to fold, and very sadly, we lose the first pot. Then the next hand blinds are up to 200, 400. I got king queen offsuit on the hijack and then raised to 1100. Big blind, a very active player, choose to call. Flop comes 10-3-3 rainbow, he checked to me. Considering he's very aggressive on this board, I think opponent would check raise a lot. So I choose to check back. And turn comes a deuce of clubs. He bets for 1500, around half of the pot. And I think he's got a very wide range, so he still has a lot of bluffs such as 4-5, 4-6, 5-6, so I choose to call. River comes a deuce of diamond, and opponent bet for a little bit over bet 6,000, and I think I still got better combos to bluff catch this rivers, such as 10x or ace high, so I choose to fold. And opponent smiles and shows his 3-4 offsuit, so we correctly fold this river. Then next hand blinds up to 300, 600. I got ace-king offsuit on the low jack and I open raise to 1600. Hijack and big blind all calls. Flop comes king 7-3 rainbow. Big blind check to me. And I didn't think for too much, so I bet for 1600. Hijack calls, big blind fold. But if I can choose again, I would choose a larger size because hijack calls my raise pre-flop. He will have a relatively strong range, and I actually need to check a lot to the hijack player, so if I'm gonna bet, I would choose a larger size. And after hijack player calls, big blind fold, turn comes at 7 of spade, and I choose to check, opponent check again. And if I can choose again, I would choose to continue bet the turn, because I don't think the hijack player would play too much 7x hand in his range, based on the effective stack I should continue betting to get value from King X. Anyway, river comes a jack of diamonds. I don't really like this hand, but I still bet for 6,000 because I still win a lot of King X worse than me, and opponent folded, so I successfully take it down. And because of the length of the video, I'm gonna end here for this week, and that's it for this week. Thanks for your watching, and I'll see you guys next week.
That is your chance to be ruthless.